Hey guys, we're going live on my investor call tonight. I do this every month to talk about our distributions. We're distributing $1.9 million this month. This is our total units. Nice, beautiful little graph there. 8,200 units now at Cardone Capital. $2 billion of assets under management. We've raised, see the funds we've raised over the last 2 years. $450 million raised. We're going to be announcing this deal tonight that we're buying. We're in the last week of due diligence, so we should go hard on it next week. We're currently under an 80-20 split. But what tonight I'm doing is I'm going over the occupancy of all our properties. We have a 95.0%. I'm reading right off this sheet right here, 95% occupancy. And I think our rent collections are, as of this month, collections 93.9, and we still have 15 days of the month. We were at 95.97 last month, so I'm going to be going over every month. The number, if you're interested, 305-407-0276, 305-407-0276. I'm going to go into this call. you're not going to be on all the call, but I'll let you watch part of the call. We're only open to accredited investors, just so you know. And so if you didn't get an invite, you might have got an invite. If you got an invite, go look at it. That's the only way to watch the call itself. And some of it's confidential information, and some of it is.
That Grant's been working on for months now. I think it's 6 or 7 months he's been working on, and pre-COVID, during COVID, he's been watching all of these deals. And if you guys ever see Grant work, he works out of a spreadsheet, and he works on a lot of deals, but he knows the ones that he wants. And so the deal that he's going to show you guys tonight, it's a really beautiful asset in a really good location. I think you guys are all really going to really like it. So we'll do the portfolio update, and you guys can ask questions in the chat bar over here. I will also, if you have a question, you guys could raise your hand. And I would like to unmute a few of the investors who have questions, just so we can kind of have an investor ask the question live with Grant on the call. And then part 2 will show the deal, and then we could ask any questions about the deal after he goes over and shows us that. So we'll keep this call on track. We'll keep it tight. Our goal and our game plan is to start right at 8. I know Grant just jumped on, and then we'll run it until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Does that sound good to everybody? So,
yeah, good. Hey, Ryan, real quick, hey guys, where are you located? Just post in the chat box where are you located, and have you invested already? Just Pennsylvania, yes. Salt Lake City, yes. Should have been. I mean, this was open basically. Not yet. Toronto, yes. Arizona, Miami, yes. Arizona, yes. Man, Arizona, by the way, we just tried to buy a deal in Arizona. God damn, market's going crazy. Insane. And it's probably going to keep going crazy. Honda's invested in 3 of our funds. Eddie, yes. Kalamazoo's invested. That's Jim Douglas. Lansing, Michigan, yes. I'll just show you guys. We are almost we'll hit 500 million in raise this year. This is the total funds. This is our graph of funds raised, which is a beautiful graph. God, that's gorgeous. Okay, and we want to keep that going. We want that thing to go vertical. I'm going to 10 billion, and I'm gonna bring you guys with me. The bigger we get, the better it is for you, because our scale gets better, controls get better, expenses go down, and this is what our units look like. We're gonna take that thing. We're gonna rock that thing straight up, because the more units we own. I'm modeling a couple of big groups. Camden's one of them. If you wherever you live, you probably have Camden apartments somewhere in your neighborhood. They probably have anywhere between 8 and 1,200 units in the major cities: Houston's, the Austins, the Dallases, and then probably not Salt Lake, but certainly all over Florida. Camden's got presence. Those guys, they're a REIT. You couldn't invest in them the way you do with me. You wouldn't get any depreciation. You wouldn't get the leverage you get here, but you would get liquidity, which means you can go in and out of it, and you get maybe a 2% dividend. Those guys hold for 25 years. They sell. They have a requirement, which is an interesting as people log on. Okay, I owe you $100, Ryan. They have a basically people are investing in the REIT for the dividend.
In the piece of paper.
And the liquidity. They can move in and out of it. That people feel like that does them well. I don't want to move in and out. I want to buy an asset and hold on to it long term. I'm just telling you about Camden because like they're right across the street from me. We model them because they want to own assets for long periods of time and have that asset that produces a dividend. So first I want to cover tonight, like Ryan said. Ryan, did I cut your communication and you had something else you wanted to cover?
I was just going to introduce the team because I just wanted to let everybody know that you're going to be on the call. Myself as the VP, Susan as the CFO, CJ as the asset manager, Carlos as the processor, Andres the lead investor relations, and then our team, Ryan, Gabe, and Patrick. They're all going to be on this call to help facilitate you, Grant, because I know for this new deal, we're going to be working with other investors. So the number that they can communicate with us, we'll put it in the chat box to the right. And I was just going to tell everybody on the call as Grant is going through, whether it's the portfolio performance update or the new deal, you guys can ask questions in the chat in the right-hand side, or you could also go under participants and you could raise your hand, and then I have the function where I can go in there and I can unmute you guys, and you guys can ask a live question to Grant. So I really think that's it. I just wanted to let everybody know we have the team on here. It's 8 p.m. We're here for them, and we're excited to have you on this call.
Beautiful. So let me just go over some of our properties that how they're doing, and also kind of the state of the union of the apartment game since we've gotten on the other side of this COVID thing. The NMHC, which is they cover
National Multi Housing Community.
NMHC. It's a great place for you guys to kind of track apartments and what's going on with them. Their national collection, I think they do 11 million. They survey 11 million. Here, I'll just pull it up real quick. They survey 11 million apartments around the United States. The collection's nationwide over those 11 million. It doesn't mean that is what any one property will do, nor does it mean it's what ours do. Okay, they're as of October 13th, they're at 86.8% collected around the country. Last month was 86.2 compared to where we're at. We're at this month collections, not occupancy. Collections is 93.90. Last month we were at 95.97 at the end of the month. Right now we're through the month, and Susan can correct me, but I think we're through the 15th of the month. So we think we beat next month. We'll be above, I think, 96%, but we're at 90. Yeah, I'm around up 94% this month. Our occupancy across 7,000. How many? 8,275 units. 8,275 units. Our occupancy is 95.09%. So we're doing.
Which is up from last month.
Yeah. Now let me just say, let me just compare that to other assets that are in our space. Okay. I just want to give you some data to think with, and you guys can ask me some questions. Hotels are. It depends on where you see them. You can see some hotel chains at 20% right now. And the national average for all hotels, small, big, is under 50%, 48% occupied. Office is actually 84% occupied right now, and collections are right there at 84, which is a really good sign that office, even through COVID, is still paying their bills. Retail, this shocked me. What do you guys think retail collections are? That's retail stores. Just post the number in there, 60, 50, 70, 73% collections from retail. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you really good, because that's not what you hear from the media every day. World's coming in, everybody's closed. I was out at Sunnyside yesterday shopping, and I called Elena, or was it you, Ryan? Maybe both of you guys. And I'm like, dude, people are moving around again. And, it even seems like the mask has gotten a little looser. Like, I was in the store today, and there's one lady, she's just she doesn't have it on. I got mine in my pocket. I'm waiting for them just to quit talking about it. Okay, so now that being said, occupancy's great. Our collections are great. We are doing some things to keep it full. So when our management company, we use a third-party management company, some people that are really, really good at what they do. And when I had that meeting with Joe, I'm like, Joe, I want to be the lowest cost provider and the highest occupancy in our market. I do not want empty beds. I'm willing to give up $1 to get a tenant. And if you follow any of my other business practices, we do what we have to do to fill a room up. So that, however, when COVID, how many of you were invested with me when COVID happened? I'm like, hey, we're going to stop the distributions for 3 months. I didn't need to do that. I shouldn't have done it. In retrospect, just looking backwards, it was actually not necessary. But in that moment, I still don't regret doing it. In that moment, it was the right thing for me to do, because I didn't know how long this would last, okay? And the most important thing in real estate, particularly with the kind of real estate that we're buying, which is irreplaceable, you don't want to lose the asset. Take care of the asset first, because if you don't take care of the asset, you can't take care of the tenants, you can't take care of the debt, you can't take care of the investors. So when we raise occupancy, when we get our occupancy above the national average, okay, and we keep our collections high, it means probably because we're making deals. And what you'll see is some of the funds, maybe you're in 3 or 4 or number 5 or 6, you'll see the cash flows go up and down a little bit. So our distributions this month, who got their check already or your wire? Good. So we distributed $1,089,419 this week. $1,989,419. That was.
Hey Grant.
Yeah.
This month, if you look to the right, this month was 1.971. Last month was 1.98.
Okay, so we're down like $16,000 across 7,000 units. Okay, and we didn't distribute out of our most recently closed deal. So if you just came into Port St. Lucia Port Royale. We just closed the deal. It hit, like if it would have closed maybe 3 days earlier, we would have probably been ready for our distributions. It didn't. These closings are very complicated. There's 200 lines of entries, and we're waiting for money to come back from paying this person and that person, et cetera. So that'll hit next month and should be a whopper. Okay, so you'll catch up if you invested in Port Royale. You're probably we'll make up whatever you didn't get this month, next month. So everybody's, we're up to date. Okay, I'm going to answer some of these questions. Why has the distribution dropped to 4% from 4.5% in Fund 5? Because Fund 5 is that Morano and
no, Fund 5 is the non-accredited fund.
Oh yeah. Okay. And there's 4 deals in the non-accredited.
Yep.
So again, I just kind of go ahead, Ryan. You want to say something?
I was just going to say, so Fund 5, there's the 5 deals, and then Fund 6, there's the 4 deals. But that one, like to your point, that you were saying earlier, to keep these properties full, we'll give a little concession at some of these properties to keep them full. The cash flow may fluctuate a percent or a 0.5%. So really the 4.5, we dropped it back. We think it's temporary. We think, in the next, call it 3, 4, 5 months, we're able to continue pushing. But
yeah, there's two things that are happening right now. Number one is COVID. Number two, there is a heavy supply coming on in some markets that's creating some softness. Orlando's a market. Houston's definitely a market that's got oversupply. If you live in a city, you're seeing supply come on, and sometimes supply gets dropped in. It steals tenants. We don't want them to leave. We'll make a deal or a concession, and that can affect cash flow. So this year, and I've always said this, look, I got a deal in Austin that I bet you I'm not going to make 3% on this year on $42 million I have invested. And I'll bet you Susan can maybe chime in. It might pay me $1.2 million on my $42 million. So you're like, oh, $1.2 million is a lot of money. I have $42 million invested in that deal. So what you don't know when you see the cash flow do this is what you don't see, and I can't deliver to you because it's is the value of the property. I can't tell William, hey, your property is worth another $20 million right now that you're in, because I'm not selling it. Number one. Number two, I don't, if it's not for sale, I don't have the money to show him a $20 million increase. Those valuations are a bit elusive because they're not something I can go get my hands on today. That Austin deal that I'm talking about, I get a phone call on that deal at least twice a month, sometimes twice a week. Would you sell it? We're interested. So what I'm saying to you is the valuation can keep going up even though the cash flow gets squeezed a little bit. Okay, that being said, Wells Fargo cut their dividends 67%. Gap suspended their dividend and may never go back to it. Carnival Cruise Lines suspended. AMC Theaters suspended. Goodyear Tire suspended their dividend. These are companies that people invested in for the dividend. Schlumberger, so that we're not just picking on travel, cut their dividend by 75%. Boeing suspended. Marriott suspended. Ford Motor Company suspended their dividend. My mother and my dad invested in Ford Motor Company for the dividend. Freeport McMoran, okay, suspended. Disney suspended. So we haven't suspended. We froze. We caught everybody up. And I don't have the exact expectation. I didn't get that, Susan. Maybe next month, Susan, make sure I get everybody what we are year to date, cash flow wise. I don't know if you have that, Susan. But maybe while she looks for that, I'll just give you occupancy of all the deals real quick. Harbor K, well, let me just go to public funds because now Harbor K, 98%. Harbor K South, 97%. Harbor Palms, 99.18%. Harbor Breeze, 100%. Need to raise the rents there. Wellington, 93.14%. Okay, there's a perfect example of a deal called Wellington. It's probably going to pay 5 or 6% this year. It's worth $28 million more than I paid for it. But I'm not selling it, so it doesn't matter. 10X Living at Delray that many of you are in, we're at 93% occupied. We do have some supply coming on in Fort Lauderdale, Delray, the Wellington market, just north of Miami. So we will see some supply issues. But we love our Delray property, don't we?
Sure do.
Port Royale, no distribution yet, but we're at 89.87% occupied. I've had 3 companies. You would know their name if I mentioned them. Man, I can't believe you bought that. I can't believe you got that asset. I wish we had that. Integra Shores, I've owned, I don't even know, 7, 8 years. It's at 92%.
In Grant on Port Royale, one of the things to note is when we acquired that at 86, we're almost at 90. We're pre-leased almost 92%.
Okay.
So your team over there is just remarkable.
Yeah. And the neighbor property that I was trying to buy, if you guys are in Port Royale, you know, I've been talking about I'm going to buy the neighbor, I'm going to buy the neighbor. Somebody bought the neighbor for $340,000. Just do the right math, Ron.